Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to LEGO DC Supervillains. We have a bit of an issue here in that the last level that I got an achievement for, which would have been the completion of the last level I did, which is only about the 4th or 5th level in the 26 levels available, I think, in the story alone. Only 42.2% of people on Steam have gotten that far. That is fairly incredibly low for this point. Now, in fairness, on average, most games have only about a third of players making it to the credits of a game. But to be only 5 or 6 levels in at most at this point, and we've lost over half of the players as far as just not getting through the story missions, really highlights how the story is fairly weak in this game. It's just too wide of a story, too many characters for a kid's story, and the design of this game that actively encourages you to get distracted. It's really pushing far too much into the ADHD mentality once you get into the hub world, where you can just run around and lose the plot and get lost. Let's continue the story.
Back to the old. This crime syndicate is worse than the Justice League. They don't play fair. They broke my favorite cold gun.
They stood on my tail.
Tried to use me as a casserole dish. They got loot from the pancake.
You gotta hand it to them. They're better at being villains than we are.
I beg to differ, Catwoman. No one is better being a villain than Lex Luthor.
We haven't seen Lex since the very first level here.
I've been to Lex and seen this so-called crime syndicate. They're hunting for something powerful. You can bet when they find it, it'll be bad news for the Earth. And more importantly, us.
Alexi, with the Justice League and they got who's gonna stop him?
Us. We can stop them.
Indeed. And then we can take over.
Precisely. Whatever their game is, if they want to play being heroes, then we'll give them the greatest bunch of bad apples ever assembled. We'll show them how we do things on our Earth.
But Ultraman is so powerful. We have our limits left. Apart from the walking power over here.
You don't say. Well, we will just have to recruit the strongest, most devious, most sneaky supervillain team this world has ever seen. Who's with me? Excellent. First up, let's go get Gorilla Grodd on the team.
So now it's a
Let's get out.
gather the team mission. Interesting. Is there anything new to do at this Hall of Doom? But doesn't seem like there is anything new. So yeah.
Why did Mercy have to park the jet all the way up there? This is such an inconvenience.
Take it easy. Let's just find a way to reach Gorilla City in no time at all. You know, by most people's standards.
So where are we going to end up on the map that we would enter Gorilla City? That's like, there's really not a point here that I think I would describe as looking like Gorilla City. Yeah. So if less than half the players have gotten to this point, then less than half the players even got to the twist of Apocalypse and the mother box. Yeah, but you can definitely see how there's just this encouragement to run around in the open world early in the game and lose the plot as far as the narrative stories. Yeah. Let's see, how many more stories? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. have been done. Then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So at least 15. And then these blue ones probably are extra things. Okay, well, this definitely makes an argument when you see those statistics that the older way of doing things, which is to have an open world hub completely locked off until you've played the story, is probably a little bit more preferable. Lego Marvel Superheroes kind of did that in a lot of ways, where you were playing as Spider-Man and then there were some instances where you would be in the open world Manhattan area for a brief second, but it would be kind of blocked off and small and controlled. We need 10 bricks. Do we even have 10 bricks? Yes, we do. So this would equal, looks like a statue. Give this statue a makeover. I mean, we're not even in a good way to look at it. Let's try. Let's just say yes. So, I went from a farmer into an evil witch. And then that got us the achievement, or a step forward in the challenge, not an actual achievement. And so going to Gorilla City is just going to be a mission, not a whole new open world area.
The Justice Syndicate villains escape and every time. These new heroes aren't quite filling the league left behind.
It kind of feels weird
We're anyway.
that they are just going to have us try and collect
It could be the Justice Syndicate
supervillains.
not used to our Earth, or perhaps our Earth One villains are too sneaky for them. There's something fishy about.
It's kind of weird though to have to lean on the comic book mentality of Gorilla Grodd being Flash's biggest like enemy compared to like the Reverse Flash. The Justice Syndicate are hot on the heels of one or two villains that may still be at large. So, who else would they potentially look to collect? I would imagine a Superman villain, bigger than Luthor.
Grodd's an A-fool.
Or Wonder Woman's like main rival.
City don't seem so advanced to me.
This isn't the actual genius. These old ruins act as a secret entrance.
I knew that.
Impressive. Let's see if we can find our way inside.
Yeah. It would be actually very hard to name other characters who would, let's see, be bigger villains. Because Lex really is the most recognizable villain to Superman. Him contrasting Superman in the sense that he is just a human who has a lot of determination and resources and access to kryptonite. You might make the argument that like Doomsday as a character might be bigger of a challenge. There's no way really to get up there. And hitting that doesn't do anything. There's basically just an invisible wall stopping me from cheating there. Game felt a little wonky, to use a technical term, when it was respawning.
This is just the kind of situation my skills are well suited for.
Yeah, I suspect we're going to end up doing at least 4 levels where we go to specific places to collect specific bad guys. Gorilla City is one that shows up and makes a lot of sense immediately, but not really sure what the next one would be. And here we have a spinning marble puzzle in Lego form, and in all fairness, I like this idea a lot more than shrinking down into a computer and doing the same idea. It is effectively the same programming, but it's visually depicted in the actual game and in the actual real world, and depicted with a more Lego feel to it. Which, yeah, there definitely feels like there's occasional temptations for these TT Lego games.
Defend yourselves. Well, this is just anybody know a place where people want to beat us up?
Us? Yes. You? No.
Yeah. These TT Lego games do have this temptation always to move away from gameplay mechanics that feel like they make sense in a Lego game into like just standard video game concepts. This guy has a gold chest, so that didn't work. And then these monkeys seem to have laser bananas, which is funny. Although it is odd that this guy just seemed to have got knocked back in a corner and lost interest. We didn't defeat him, per se. This does feel like a more traditional Lego level, in the sense that we are running left and right a little bit more, and solving puzzles instead of just being in round arena areas. But I can't have a feeling here that we've got some wonkiness happening in this game, either because I left this game paused and then started recording again and absolutely just have to exit out between each level, or because this is a open area level with a lot of textures going on. I mean, looking at the background, you definitely are seeing a lot of both Lego and non-Lego stuff. So we now have these move things around puzzles, which I prefer these even. Although I will say these puzzles are designed kind of poorly, and that it is a kind of silly concept that you would have a screen that you would have to x-ray to solve a puzzle behind. Then we'll tap A and have to get it rhythmically correct. So now the puzzle is to jump on these platforms as they're moving, and Reverse Flash moves, frankly, too rapidly for its own good. And see, there's another just a little stutter. It's not getting into the micro stuttering issue, but that was an actual stutter. And that does seem to just happen like when you are walking alongside a new area, something that would have been should have been loaded into memory actively gets loaded back into memory. Yeah, and that kicked me up really high there, and I don't think that was intentional. This definitely feels very Indiana Jones, but in all fairness, stealing that idea from Indiana Jones is not a bad idea. It doesn't feel like it's like actively just trying to be a parody. You would think that this would be more kind of like a quick time event where they would attack you.
It looks like some of the parts might be useful.
Time for a little salvage operation. Huh? Let's see what we got.
Heat wave. Didn't even realize we were playing as heat wave. That's one of the options. Getting multiple hints there. Both tap Y and tap B. I assume Captain Cold? Nope, that's a Green Lantern symbol. So that's just free play stuff. Haven't really done much with Heat Wave. Smash our own guys that way. So Heat Wave was the one with the laser attack, and so he was the one I was supposed to have been using with the gold chested gorillas. Now they've immediately switched us to Captain Cold to do the next quest. Is that finished? I guess it is. I was expecting some more fanfare or a sound effect to play or something. Even though this is very much closer to what would have been a more traditional Lego level, it's still going backwards and forwards and in the foreground and background a lot more than any of the previous Lego games ever would. So it's not a very wide level.
Something to put on my refrigerator, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, I would expect that either when I was attacked by 3 gorillas like that, I would either just smash the X button a little bit more faster to defeat people, and they would be very much cannon fodder, dying on 1 hit, maybe 2 hits at most instead of 3 or 4 hits, or that they would present themselves as real challenges that will not go away unless I counter with an actual more complicated quick time event type counter move. And honestly, that's not probably what you would want to do in a kid's game. Arkham Asylum, the Arkham City Arkham Asylum series does kind of require more quick time events, challenges, where you are having just to be a little bit more focused on what buttons you're pressing, and it makes the fighting in Arkham Asylum, Arkham City a little frustrating, frankly. It takes a little too long to defeat even the most basic enemy.
What's this thing supposed to do?
Well, isn't it obvious?
So we have a giant banana swing here. You would think everybody would have to get on this, but I bet that's not actually possible. And that slowed down too much.
Everybody relax. Grodd has invited us, remember? This is going to be a walk in the park.
Apes of Gorilla City, take us to your leader.
We're probably gonna find out Grodd's not in charge anymore.
Greetings, oh great
Where's Grodd?
Grodd has been banished from here. Gorilla City is now under my rule.
Grodd was so specific. We had to heal. Correct, Mr. Luther. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
I will vanquish you and take back my city.
You're welcome to try.
A lot of these cutscenes definitely could have been used just into a animation, like directed streaming, direct to DVD animation, instead of being used for a video game. Okay. So now we have full quick time events.
Surrender now. For my
So we have seemingly the idea that we're going to try and have him crash into the panels. And so that we stun. It's funny, we're getting kind of a chimpanzee type sound effect, or ape-like sound effect. What was that? So these smaller guys can jump on you. That being done, I guess he can psychically assemble things, whereas I would have kind of thought that Grodd wouldn't have been able to actually build things because he's just a big character. It's always very weird, though, when you're dealing with Gorilla Grodd, because he really is just a very silly character, and it highlights the level of silliness that Flash can really go into with his enemies, that frankly you just don't feel that level of silliness with the Batman characters. I mean, you should feel the same level of silliness with Batman characters, though. Most of the enemies in DC are ridiculous, and most of the superheroes are ridiculous. But it's been normalized quite a bit. The Joker and Scarecrow and Harley Quinn are reasonable characters. Let's play as the other character for a brief second. And as soon as I switched to Lex, I think it was a coincidence, but it did a mid-fight cutscene.
But I should take them nonetheless.
Let's see. There's only one more of these for him to crash into. Let's see what this does. Banana cannons getting turned into yellow studs.
I didn't want it to come to this.
So he's doing a big area of effect attack. And there we defeat him. And so we get a picture of Lex standing on the chest where it would have been a picture of the other character. And I guess that's a reference to Zod. So I wonder if Zod might show up.
Solivar could have seated in your thoughts and pulled it from your mind. Regardless, should you ever require aid.
Funny you should mention that.
No.
So we're down to like 39% of players have completed this level. That is quite a small number. Not a very long level either. So it's not like the length of these levels in story mode are the problem. It really is just the fact that when you hit continue story, it doesn't just force you into a continued story mode. Ideally, what I probably would have done had I been in charge of developing this game is I would have gone into walk and talk modes of some sort where you have to walk from point A to point B to continue the story while you're still in story mode, or cutscenes in general to just make it look like the character is walking.
Welcome, Grodd.
Let's continue this cutscene here.
I need you to help collect our next recruit.
You want me to find Sinestro?
See, we haven't even dealt with Green Lantern. So, Sinestro is really out of
Rookie, eh? Yes, that one is becoming most useful. Very well. Any thoughts on where to start looking?
Captured by the crime syndicate. Taken to
The home of the Green Lantern Corps. I can locate a vessel to get us there.
Very clever. Well, you didn't realize your personality.
So they have taken over Oa, too, instead of just Earth. Interesting. Those two characters just running along.
Silent friend. If it's a spaceship we need, I happen to know an aircraft near Smallville. We can find one.
So yeah, I could see a situation where if they had just scripted the characters to walk, they already have the pathfinding here. They could always have tweaked that a little bit also.
Hey there, friend. I need your help again.
Yeah, let's not do that quest. Wow. I don't know what happened there, but I jumped way farther than I was expecting. Yeah, that is just like an insane level of jump. It does show a character, though, that definitely could get closer to the higher areas that I suspect hold a lot of secrets in these open world areas. Let's see. Stealing candy from a baby a second time probably wouldn't do anything for us. And he just like jumped around. Do run into a slight problem in the idea that the psychic powers of Gorilla Grodd would almost certainly imply that if it turns out this custom character... Oops. Well, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Like, if our secret character is supposed to be like a double agent for the Justice League, then Gorilla Grodd probably should figure that out. And be able to read our character's mind. So Gorilla Grodd is just going to follow us from behind, I suppose. Yeah, you could easily have had this been a drive and talk, I guess is what it would really be in this case, where you got in a car and then there was more dialogue and backstory being spoken by, say, Lex or Gorilla Grodd in this case. So, we're now driving to Metropolis to then drive to Smallville. Not really a lot to do here, other than to potentially try to enjoy driving on the roads while avoiding colliding with people. There's some kind of gold brick inside of that. What is this? LexCorp? Well, since we're here, let's see if we can figure out what would we need.
Lexerciser, the car of the future. Tomorrow. Sorry, folks. We've run out of renewable energy. Come back tomorrow. Look at test drive. At least I get to go home to my wife and kids.
I'm getting, like, stuck. So I don't know if I'm supposed to like swap the live wire here. And see if her abilities can help.
The return of the beautiful, brilliant, the too much.
Get me a pastrami on drawing.
Yeah, I have no idea. It feels like we've just not really engaged with anything like that before. Over here we've got some henchmen characters.
I don't know. He promised.
So there's room for being distracted doing that also. If they were to have scripted this as a long drive and talk, then there really needed to have been a lot more dialogue and voice acting recorded, which is probably the thing they don't want to do, is pay for the voice actors to work more. So it would have been easiest probably to just fade to black and then fade inward. Or, you know, you could have had a radio station set up. If you're going to steal ideas from GTA already, the idea of getting in the car and then, say, some classic, like, 1970s Batman song plays on the radio as you drive, or some other DC songs or licensed music plays as you're driving. That would work. Interesting. They're panhandling for gold, which is not something I would have thought they would have ever bothered to animate in Lego games, in TT Lego games. As of recording this, we are in this weird position where EA, I believe, no, I don't think it's EA, I think it's actually 2K, now has announced a Lego racing live service type game, which looks like it's going to have a ton of microtransactions and stuff in it from initial look. I hope it's good, but my faith isn't very high.
Capiche? We're fully insured. And we can't give you gas free or not if there's no gas. That's why I'm here. The Mannheim offers fire extinguisher service in association with that costume creep over there. In exchange for at least start with the shut-off valve. There's one for each pump. The fires won't stop, but the fuel keeps coming.
So this is some kind of like shakedown that he's doing.
That garage stay closed. Apparently criminals kept to repaint their car. Or something equally morally questionable.
Interesting. So, with the 2K Lego game potentially having been announced and coming out, it'll be interesting to see, even if it isn't really well received, it'll be interesting to see how they think about depicting Legos and how they think about having gameplay interactions that feel Lego complacent. Complacent's probably the right. Complementary, I guess, would be the better word to use. Because you definitely run into situations where
I'm kind of disappointed, really.
it's a little weird.
Gasoline isn't explosive alone. Also, the car isn't on fire. Oh, that's cool.
Making a offhanded reference to the Smallville TV show, I suppose is fine, but it is also making reference to a TV show that almost certainly no little kid would have watched in its original airing or even in reruns. The Smallville TV show does not really have any connection at all to what it really doesn't have any connection at all to what is the current CW DC live action shows. In particular, there's on CW a older Superman series that's currently airing, where Superman has kids and has moved back to Smallville to kind of retire or raise his family. So was that everything we needed to do? What? You can break things in here. I don't think that helps anything. There's one more, and it's inside this area, which I think means we can't actually turn it off. Which may just mean we can't actually do this side mission, even if we wanted to. I would think I could throw a spear if I was to swap this character. Let's see, acrobatic characters don't seem to have spears. We don't have anybody with advanced swimming, except for we could buy Beast Boy. We're over 1,000 studs. Yeah. There's still a lot of characters you would need to unlock, so I kind of question the idea of having so many open world elements available at this point. So if less than 40% of people have gotten to this point in the story, then less than 40% of people probably have also unlocked any more characters than what we have, which means running around in the open world probably doesn't work. 12 sockets. We'll see what a 12 socket is. Yeah. It's weird that you also have 12 sockets back up here. That sounds like Gilbert Godfrey. That voice. That might be somebody doing a Gilbert Godfrey impression. Just immediately crash. Of course, they might as well, at this point, make a reference to Smallville the Smallville TV show because it just doesn't matter. Let's see. What else would we need to do? Just put out the fires, I guess? Yeah, Killer Frost should be able to do that.
I'm not exactly a magician, you know.
Of course, we're doing good guy things in missions like this. But you'd think the DC supervillains.
What? Can you call me a cab?
No.
I don't think I can.
This gaining around's a little annoying, frankly. Yeah, the CW DC TV shows really can't matter that much. Here we have a dog. Because they're all likely to wrap up or be canceled in the next. Oh, there's another character just out of nowhere. So breaking into these trash cans seems to call the cops to come to you. Yeah, but so all of those TV shows are about to be wrapped up, and maybe, just maybe, now that there's a new person in charge of DC, that they'll launch new DC TV shows. That's their plan that they've already announced. This is being called the Gods and Monsters era. I guess that's what it was, an era. As a proposal. And with that, it is effectively a new 52 once again, without doing yet another reboot, which DC was notorious for doing reboots. Marvel is notorious for not doing reboots when it really should, and instead does crises that are basically kind of like reboots, but not exactly like reboots. They don't set the numbers down to issue number 1. It's pretty much assumed that an issue number 12 is exactly the same as an issue number 1000. Once you get past that first year of issues, you either have to have trade paperbacks to collect anything above 12 issues, or you have to have just a new saga happening within the issue numbers, where like Clone Saga is an old saga, for instance, in Spider-Man, and you would sub-label and have a specific chapter for the Clone Saga Spider-Man comics, and then when the Clone Saga would be finished, you would move on to something else. Or Marvel will do things where they'll launch a side comic like Superior Spider-Man, and that'll be an issue 1, but it'll always be explained as a series that's not going to go on forever. It's ironic, you have Marvel and DC often doing like two very different things, and yet neither one of them seem to work as far as gathering an audience. I think a big part of that is that, let's see, did I spend gold bricks? Probably didn't when I changed the statue. This is probably, you need to overall have 20 to change the statue. And apparently we can go to the customizer now, which I don't know why that is just all of a sudden unlocked. But yeah, I think a big problem with comics, both Marvel and DC, is that they are all action comics. They are all targeted at young boys exclusively, and frankly a very limited way of thinking about young boys too, from the 1940s. They've never really succeeded in courting different people with different personalities very much, and they've never found a good financial balance. There's a severe lack of embracing technology in comics that keeps their price way too high for your average kid. Originally, a comic book costing a penny or a nickel or even a dime would have been maybe a lot of wood chopping for a lot of farm kids, farm boys, but it would be something that would be reasonable and doable, particularly in the 40s or 50s when you wouldn't have video games competing for kids' entertainment budgets. But now comics are $4 or $5 each.
I'm sorry, I criticized your choice of organic lip balm. Please let me in. Open the door. Someone's out here breaking furniture. I don't know how they got here. Why they're even doing that. Oh wait. Now they're building something.
We might as well do this since we gone that far. Seems like the game knows which character you're gonna need. Inherently, video games have succeeded way better to be an entertainment form. You know what really would probably be the smarter move is, I have no idea which of the characters would have a light up ability. Scarecrow, I guess?
Real.
So, like, he lit up the area, but then we are back to Livewire, I think. And this is a great example of just what the open world game is going to be. Okay, she could have lit up the area. But she doesn't have the capability to spin that. So it doesn't seem like she has the capability to spin it. We can go over here and find the Johnny DC characters, which I still don't know anything about that, where that came from. But that'll give us the map points and things we can do in Smallville. You would kind of think that there would be a focus more on maybe off-road racing. Let's see. Why can I not turn this around and look in this direction?
I wanted to be a member of the team when I was younger, but then I realized that one of the requirements is a tragic backstory and powers and a moral compass.
So there's something about this camera that is not letting me turn around and look in here. But you can see that these are Lego designs, but they've been flattened into 2D textures. For the most part, they're Lego designs, not all of them. Scream Lego. The bottles, in particular, don't feel very Lego. Yep. And if anything, this probably highlights where Manhattan was very good for being very dense as far as having buildings and things to interact with, whereas Smallville is going in the opposite direction, where it's trying to be it's trying to have more buildings feel like they are more individualized. Each one of these buildings may very well be somewhat of an in-joke. The coffee chain here versus the coffee chain here. Starbucks joke. A Starbucks directly across the street from another Starbucks. But noticeably not something like Jitters, which is in the CW show for Flash, a reused set quite a bit around where everybody goes to get coffee. It's something like JJ Jitters or something like that. And that's probably directly from the comics. Bookstore, Pancake, all very generic building things. Lars's Pizza might be a reference to something. Octane is just the standard Lego. He is just a standard gas station company in all Lego sets after they stopped doing a cross promotion with, I believe it was Shell Corporation. Like they were originally cross promoting with an actual gas station called Shell, or a gas company franchise that adds many gas stations, but the Lego fans protested them doing business with Shell because Shell, at the time at least, was not environmentally friendly, and almost certainly any gas company is not, even now, still environmentally friendly. Or they often, I imagine, pretend like they're environmentally friendly. So you can see that there's a lot of security stuff. Storm won't rain. This storm won't ruin your barbecue. Death storm or firestorm? Kansas airfield. I assume we're not really getting into Superman's spaceship that he arrived on Earth as a baby, but maybe that's exactly what they're going to do, because that would be the reference that kids would get. And ideally, these stories really should have references that kids can outthink, and kids should feel smart on the idea that they're ahead of it.
Is amazing. Wonder if I could. Hey, What's going on? What's going on? You're not supposed to be here.
So we have the Atom here, but that doesn't seem like he's a bad guy from Earth 3.
Maybe I should
So we just
fighting and making size-related puns.
this might be a boss battle, more in the open world.
Are you not in the mood? Small.
And it's interesting that you can get knocked out of this fight arena because I would think that you might just get trapped in it.
What is all that?
Some tech just put into storage.
Is it junk?
Not in my hands. There's more than one way to get to space. Like this slideways teleporter, for example. Well, come on.
So we're going to use teleporters instead of spaceships, which makes some sense.
What's the matter, King? Tide gone out.
This earth is covered thirds in water. If we're to fulfill our promise, I require aid in searching the ocean.
Everyone has their sectors to search, King. You frightened of a little hard work?
No, but I detest being a hero.
As do we all. Pretending to be this planet's greatest do-gooders allows us to search unhindered, unquestioned.
Here, Sea King. Got a little helper for you.
Oh.
The watchtower.
Someone's been through here and cleaned it out.
Let's hope they left us something to get us to Oa.
I'm confused as to how they would have been able
to. I see those Justice League using them all the time.
I really question how they would have been able to take over Oa completely. Alright, so are we in the level? No. We have been playing for an hour. We can't go to the customizer in this area. So this is perhaps where we are. Why do I have a punch symbol in front of my face at that point? I don't know. Yeah. I guess there isn't really a way to bring up like the map for the watchtower or the overworld, since we are now, I guess, in space in the watchtower. This is a very different looking watchtower from what we saw in Lego Batman 3 DC Superheroes, or whatever Lego Batman 3 really was. It doesn't make a lot of sense that this is just called Lego DC Supervillains, because Lego Batman 3 really barely had anything to do with Batman. There was an odd transition there where it would have made a lot more sense to have really only called Lego Batman 1 and 2 Lego Batman games, and Lego Batman 3 should have just been called Lego DC Superheroes, followed up by a sequel called Lego DC Superheroes : Villains, or DC Superheroes 2 : Villains. Okay, well, the good news is we're 11.8% done as far as completion of the game. And we really haven't done that much. We're still just kind of meandering through the open world and trying to get through the story missions. Which, looking at the story missions, it looks like we've probably done 5 out of 26. Because I think I've only not gotten the true supervillain once so far. But it may actually be 6 out of 26. So there's still potentially 20 more levels as far as story levels. There's a massive amount of mini kits, a massive amount of characters, all 20 red bricks, 200 plus gold bricks, 35 vandal things still to do. So we've barely even scratched the surface as far as what this game offers. But it does kind of feel like it would be nice if there was a way to speed up this whole process. It will be a lot faster, I think, once we get into the free play mode stuff. Running through the levels, we'll skip through cutscenes if we can skip through them. I kind of question if maybe the loading is hidden behind so many of these cutscenes that you can't actually skip them. Even though I am playing on an SSD, the loading still may take some time. So we may not be able to speed it up that much, but we can do our best, and when we're in open worlds doing things, we'll very quickly, I think, solve little puzzles like the gas station and find gold bricks that way, and we'll do races. And we'll try to keep it fairly varied in that we'll do races and then find gold bricks and then do other puzzles if there are other puzzles. But I wouldn't be surprised if what is probably a 26-hour game, or maybe closer to a 20-hour game to do just the story mode, turns into a 50-60-hour game with all the open world content. We didn't crash again. I'm obviously going to have to keep an eye out for that, but we did have some wonkiness in the Gorilla Grodd level in particular. I do question, even though this is basically the third newest Lego game, it's still on the old technology and the old engine, and I question if maybe turning off effects wouldn't be better, or playing at a lower resolution would be better. Particularly, this is the first game I've played, Lego game I've played, since the Steam Deck has really been a thing, and the idea of playing a Lego game on the Steam Deck is very much more appealing for most parents, I imagine, than having kids play Lego games on a highly powerful $2,000 to $3,000 high-end gaming PC. So if you were playing a game like this on the Steam Deck, more than likely you would lower the resolution down to 720. Of course, Steam OS that runs on the Steam Deck is also a highly customized Linux that is constantly being updated, so just getting away from Windows and instead using Linux to pretend like it's Windows with a compatibility layer might solve a lot of problems anyways. But that is pretty much speculation. I would have to actually research how well this specific game plays and see if it is Steam Deck verified, or go to ProtonDB, which gives you feedback as far as how well a game actually plays on using the Proton compatibility layer on Steam OS or any other form of Linux. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos because that helps me with YouTube. If you want to support me even further, there's social media links and support links for donations down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.